Well, good evening, my friends, and welcome to my Solstice show. It's a few nights late, but I just didn't have it together to get it done by the solstice night, because I wanted to go back through and do some of these older songs of mine that I wrote during, I think, a more pagan time of my life, and I love those songs, and so I thought it would be really fun to relearn them and work them up for tonight's show. So I thought maybe it'd be fun to start with like an invocation. And one of the happy things I've learned over the years is that I don't have to know what it is I'm invoking or to whom, but it's the intention, I think, that counts. And so this seemed like a good song for to open with an invocation. Maybe I'll open and close with something like that. Oh, hands of time that steal my days and turn my gaze towards night, against your final backdrop plays the story of my life. Your fractured vessel I've become, my broken heart of tin, a grain of sand in rain and sun, at the mercy of the wind. I'm your unworthy instrument. Come strike my final tones and blow your horn magnificent through the hollows of my bones. I'll never be your chosen one to rise above the din, for all the good I should have done and all I've never been. I'm your unworthy instrument. Come strike my final tones and blow your horn magnificent through the hollows of my bones. I'm your unworthy instrument. Come strike my final tones and blow your horn magnificent through the hollows of my bones, through the hollows of my bones. All right, well, we're off and running, huh? This is an older song of mine. You've probably heard me do it before because I still really enjoy doing this song. I wrote it in a very altered state of consciousness many years ago after drinking a very dark, strong brew that took me on a major excursion, and not necessarily the funnest excursion I ever had, but it did. By the end of this journey, this night-long journey where I confronted many things that I didn't really want to confront and finally sort of threw up, this song was waiting for me when I finally purged all these things that I'd been holding in. And I think it sort of works nicely for the solstice at a time of real inner reflection. Through the looking glass into another world where all is still. Majestic silence calls me and I will walk on through the looking glass, reaching for a place my eyes can't see, wandering in the nighttime where I'll be at dawn, walking on and on through the green fields and the minefields to learn how love feels on this ocean, this mirror of my heart, the great devotion game. Beauty beckons like a pot of gold. Once upon a time I walked a road like this, through the looking glass, crossing the dark waters of my loneliness, living for the glimpses of life's holiness, through the looking glass. Stars don't have to tell me where to go. I've lived enough to know I want the whole of love. Walking on and on through the green fields and the minefields to learn how love feels on this ocean, this mirror of my heart, the great devotion game. Beauty beckons like a pot of gold. Once upon a time I walked a road like this, walking on and on through the looking glass, through the looking glass. One pill makes you larger. Yeah, if you took all my records dating back to when I started making records, which was the first record I made was for RCA in 1968 that never got released. But if you took them, all of them, and put them chronologically in a row, it would really tell my life story in a lot of ways. It would, this very naive person and who became this hippie and a mother and had all these belief systems that were, kind of came to their to their tragic end, and all the lessons learned and mistakes made and loves lost and found, and trying on these different spiritual hats, and trying on the belief in nothing hat, and finally ending up realizing, well, I don't know, but I'm a lot happier, healthier, and so the progression is gladly for me, I think, happily for me. It's a kind of a happy progression. I think a lot happier now. So, but going back through these songs, it's fun to sort of find out, sort of look at what I was thinking back in those days, and there was a naivete to it that, in a way, I kind of miss. But this is a more recent song. I wrote this song before we had moved back to Taos, but I was dreaming of Taos. I mean, I was imagining the moon coming up over our beautiful mountains, our beautiful Sangre de Cristos and the Pueblo Peak right out our side windows, and I was imagining the moon coming up and illuminating our beautiful fields with its light, and our beautiful orchards and cornfields and hay fields here that we have in Austin. We're so lucky we have this bounty of water here. And as I was imagining the moon coming up, I started to write in my mind this letter to my grandchildren. And so that's where this came from. And I think it feels fitting for a solstice night. Moonrise over the mountain, the sky is midnight blue. I'm thinking about the hard times that lie ahead of you. You'll never know just what was lost in our spiral down from grace. We'll never know the final cost of the worthless dreams we chased. But save your sorrow for another morn, though your heart lies on the ground. Come tomorrow, maybe a new world's born. When we ride the old one down. It never will be paradise. It never will be bliss. But love will make it worth the price, even in times like this. So save your sorrow for another morn, though your heart lies on the ground. Come tomorrow, maybe a new world's born. When we ride the old one down. Moonlight over the mountain, the midnight oil burns low. There'll never be enough time till it's your time to go. So save your sorrow for another morn, though your heart lies on the ground. Come tomorrow, maybe a new world's born. When we ride the old one down. yeah, I was thinking, what kind of world is coming for them, and how, it was almost like I wanted to have some kind of record that I knew, and I cared, because I don't think it's going to be easy for them. I'm going to do a few songs tonight that my grandmother wrote. This first one is one that she wrote in 1949, and she put it to, my dad put it to music in the 1950s, and it actually became his theme song. He had an Armed Forces Radio folk show in the early 50s, and he called it The Solitary Singer, which was the name of this song, and he would always close his show with, this was his theme song, and his mother wrote it, as I said, in 1949. She sent him the lyrics, and he put this beautiful dark melody to it. I always loved this song, and I think it's a perfect Solstice song. Dark comes down like a bird in flight. Most good people have gone to rest, but us poor fools who wake at night, when we're lonely, we sing our best. Listen and hark, out in the dark, a mockingbird in the tall oak tree. He busts his throat on a high, sweet note. Nobody knows he's there but me. He sings his best when nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. Night comes down like a heron's wing. Honeysuckle is in the air. That's when I like to sit and sing. Nobody listens, but I don't care. Out in the swamp by a firefly lamp, an old frog fiddles his double bass. Over the hill, a whippoorwill sings her note from a secret place. She sings her best when nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. Isn't that just a gorgeous song? I mean, my family was so into birds. I mean, my dad was so good at birds, and I didn't come into it till later. Of course, when you're a kid, anything your parents do is what you don't want to do. But later on, when my dad was getting pretty old, sometimes, and we weren't living he was in Santa Fe, but I was living in various places around the country, and sometimes I would see some bird that I didn't, or hear a call, and I would call him, and I'd hold up the phone, and I'd say, "What is this bird?" And it was always like, "Well, that's the common." It was always something like super common and normal and regular, but for me, it was like some big discovery. One time, like I was up on the Rio Grande, and I said, "This white bird." It was like, I don't know, it wasn't like a heron, it was a white bird. And I called my dad, I was like, "There's this white bird, I don't know what it is." He goes, "That's the common gull." I was like, what are gulls doing up here in the Rio Grande? But anyway, he was good with the birds. Excellent, good to hear. Well, there's something about the solstice to me that makes me think of being alone and being alone with nature, being alone with the dark side, and being able to handle it, be able to embrace it, and that part of yourself, the shadow side of yourself. And that's this time of year that I think that, it's right and good to go in and get internal, and look at that stuff. But sometimes you just, I'm going to switch here. Sometimes you just, being alone sucks, and I can certainly understand, with the virus and everything, being stuck alone. Now we've kind of figured it out. When it first started out, I think people that were isolated, it was really awful, but now, we've figured out the pod thing. We figured out a lot of stuff. I'm very overcautious. But anyway, this song came out of that. And this is really for all the women out there who are alone but not lonely. Good start, huh?
Solo for a time. Gonna sing here for my supper. I know everything's gonna be just fine. Got two hands to guide me through one very long dance. Got a true heart inside me, gonna give me one more chance to be alone, not lonely. I'm alone, I'm not lonely.
You probably know the myth of Persephone. I wrote this song during a very dark time, a hard time, and a lone and lonely time, and I was looking at myths and kind of working on archetypes and inner archetypes and stuff, and this song came out of just the two different myths really. The Persephone, who was abducted by Hades and taken to the underground, and when she went down under, then this winter fell upon the land, and her mother pleaded on her daughter's behalf, and she was allowed to come up for half the year, and thus we have spring. And I love just the idea of everything shutting down, and then this, her coming back up, and it reminded me of the kind of the journey that I was on, because I was really down I had really just fallen down to the bottom, and I but the thing I realized, it's almost like you claw and you scratch, you don't want to go down, and then you're down there, and then it's at a certain point you have to look around, and study the territory. And it was at that point I realized that one of the great things about going down into the cave is that there's a lot of songs down there. You really, if everything was all springtime all the time, then it might not be so interesting as a songwriter. But and I stuck that myth together with the story of Psyche and Eros, because Psyche wanted to. She was just a human. She was not a god or a goddess, but she fell in love with Eros, and she was not allowed to look at him. But when he was sleeping, she did take a peek, and that plunged her into despair and hardship. And she was given 3 tasks to redeem herself and become a goddess. And so she had to go and collect she had to sort through this massive pile of seeds, and she was helped by some ants. And my thought was that was something to do with learning discernment, that she was having to pick through this minutia. And then her second task was to go collect the wool from these killer sheep, and which she found a way to do that at night and get it off the bushes rather than take it from the sheep. She figured out a sideways angle, and all along she was always helped by critters and natural phenomenon. And the last thing, she was going to have to go get the elixir of life from the raging waters of life. She was supposed to get some of that and bring it back, and which was like, going to Niagara Falls and standing under it and trying to grab some water. But a little bird helped her and got a little tiny flask of it for her. And so she became a goddess, and she got to have Eros, the god of love. But anyway, wrote this one when I was down in the cave and figuring out I was going to have to do my tasks so I could come up and have some springtime, get poolside again. Just because I was just about to start singing, then I realized the voice was really low. So. That's better, isn't it? Can't you just tell? On the floor of the cavern, you sort through the seeds, separate expectation from the things you need. In the hour of communion, while other fools sleep, gather strands of experience from the wildebeest. Hang on till the winter's end,
wheels spinning round till you rise like the sun again from the underground. Little bird at the cascade, is it too much to ask? Bring me tears of love's elixir in your tiny flask. Consumed with your suffering, so daunting the task. How long must your love be gone and this season last? Hang on till the winter's end, wheels spinning round till you rise like the sun again from the underground. From the underground. From the underground.
So I'm going to do another one of my grandmother's songs. I think she had a little phase in her life, you know, that was sort of the 20s and 30s version of sort of looking into occult and paganism and stuff like that. But she did love the natural world, and she was an artist as well. And when she was coming close to her death, her last few years of her life in the mid-70s, she sent out a poem to the whole family, and it was this beautiful burial instructions, basically. And I remember at the time my dad showing it to me, just thinking, God, that is just so profound, so cool. And then of course the elders in our family passed on, and the song got lost. And it wasn't until I was making my Secularia record that was what I called spiritual songs for atheists, spiritual hymns for atheists is what I call it. But I wanted to find that song of that beautiful poem of my grandmother, see if I could put it to music. And I had two remaining aunts, one 98 and one 94, and I wrote them, and I was like, can anybody remember this song that this poem that Phoebe sent around? And they were like, honey, we don't know what you're talking about. And so I was bummed, but I couldn't, there was nothing I could do about it. Well, about 6 months later, I get an email from my Aunt Neil, now passed on. It was really the last year of her life. I found it, and so she sent me this poem, and it was just as wonderful as I thought. Wonderful burial instructions, and so I did switch it around a little bit, put a chorus in it, and made it a little more song-like, but it's called Conservation.
Ancient kings on ancient thrones, from Nineveh to Babylon, built pyramids to hoard their bones in, far from the ground they walked upon. And man for his immortal sake conceals his bones in steel and wood. He leaves a desert in his wake, and there can serve a greater good. I have no God, no king or savior, no world beyond the setting sun. I'll give my thanks for one more day here and go to ground when my time has come. I beg you, make my burial ground a feast for eyes and ears instead, with trees and birds and flowers abounding, where those who mourn may be comforted. I have no God, no king or savior, no world beyond the setting sun. I'll give my thanks for one more day here and go to ground when my time has come. What if the day be dark or fair? Just dig a hole and drop me in. My Mother Earth will never care for all that I've done everywhere I've been. To feed a wild and growing thing is all I'll ever ask of fame. And maybe on a day in springtime, a little bird will sing my name. I have no God, no king or savior, no world beyond the setting sun. I'll give my thanks for one more day here and go to ground when my time has come. I'll give my thanks for one more day here and go to ground when my time has come.
Yeah. Pretty good burial instructions. Her name was Phoebe, and I love that line. A little, and maybe on a day in springtime, a little bird will sing my name, Phoebe. That's a nice little touch, huh? Oh, oops, here. All right, now this is a song that I wrote after many years ago. I read the Bruce Chapman book Songlines. I don't know if anybody has come across that. He passed on a number of years ago, but it was a very moving book to me, and I loved it that he had his science brain and his natural scientist brain, but also his fascination with the Aboriginal mythology, and he talked about Dreamtime, and that struck me as he really described Dreamtime as being like this overlay of a way of perception that existed at the same time as this linear world we live in, but it was a way of perceiving things and really seeing them differently, and that Dreamtime overlaid, and that there was ways to access it, and so this song came out of that, but also with a sense of what's coming. That to me, a very frightening future that's coming down the pike for the natural world, and us being part of that. And so that tied into this somehow. Dreamtime also being the end of everything, but also a way of embracing it. And so it's a complicated idea, but.
In these long hours before the dawn, the wind blows shadows on the wall. Some kind of storm is coming on, some kind of veil about to fall. Even the air is quivering with the promise of death and life. When we cross over into dream time, we played our hand to win or lose, and now the hour is far too late to plan or get to choose between love's mercy and our fate. Oh, when the night comes on like this, oh, I pray there'll be some kind of guiding light when we cross over. When we cross over into dream time. Close your eyes, little one. Sleep while you can, 'cause you can't know till dawn who'll be gone or who'll be left standing. The light grows dim, yeah, we're afraid when the wolf comes round the door. But it's a price, it must be paid, for taking all and wanting more. Oh, when the night comes on like this, give us shelter from the storm. When we cross over, when we cross over, when we cross over into dream time. Dream time.
It's not one of my lightweight songs. So I really did get into the mythology for a while, and I read the book, The Search for the Beloved, years ago, and it was really about finding. Jung talked about the anima and the animus, and finding that other part of yourself, and becoming more, I think, more androgynous, which I certainly see as I get older. That is certainly what's happening to me. And so this song, the idea of searching for the beloved, and also having that be maybe the beloved part of yourself, like the falling in love with some part of yourself, and as Rumi did. He was, Rumi, of course, had a master that he loved, but so much of his poetry is about the divine love, finding it, sort of going mad for this love of something within you, and so much great poetry has come from it, and so many great love songs, I think, can actually almost be about the pursuit of the beloved within, and I paired that with Dionysius, because Dionysius used to, he was really accepted by the women. He really was able to run with the girls. And I liked the idea of sort of pursuing that. But it was personal too, and that's how it always starts. So this is called Dionysian Love. Some people say Dionysius, but it doesn't sing very well. I like Dionysian. I'm going to tune, though. I heard something go out, and I got to deal. How are we doing for time? 6:45. Okay. Oh, I'm good. Then I think I wrote the perfect length set. Is everybody hanging in? It's a little odd when there's nobody, you don't see anybody's faces, and you're like, well, you know, oh my God, am I here all alone? Bubby, can you turn that guy off? It was cold over here, and then it got hot, or I got hot, and then... Yeah, sure, just down it to 1, yeah. Oh, this is so worth it. Once again he walks with me along the beauty way, my winged messenger, my warrior child of clay. Waves crashes his coat of many colors comes undone, revealing to me the mystery of Dionysian love. Jeweled worlds are born as passion pulls me in, fragrance scent of spices, perfume of his skin, rushing in this heart of mine to mingle with my blood. Reveal yourself again to me, Dionysian love. On this island in the ocean, at the edge of all we know, vows again are spoken like we did so long ago. But to my soul I am speaking, my Dionysian love. See how far he travels out into the waiting worlds, to dance among the princes and the radiant temple girls, tasting the splendid forms a dream world is made of, bringing it all back home to me, Dionysian love. On this island in the ocean, at the edge of all we know, vows again are spoken like we did so long ago. But to my soul I am speaking, my Dionysian love. Words of ecstasy falling from his lips. Stars give approval from the sacred sky above. Reveal yourself again to me, Dionysian love. On this island in the ocean, at the edge of all we know, vows again are spoken like we did so long ago. But to my soul I am speaking, my Dionysian love. Dionysian love, my Dionysian love. That's an old song. All right, this is another old one. It seems like a perfect solstice song to me. I remember yesterday when I become the moon. All the stars came out to play. We danced away the gloom. Circled round a ring of stones before they fell in ruin. I can hear our voices still when I become the moon. How Diana rolled the wood, traces still remain. Shared the wisdom and the herbs, shared the joy and pain. Echoes of life's passion play still haunt the bride and groom. But they'll be wed again someday when I become the moon. Soldiers of the holy wars, a holy greed command. Claim the earth and all her shores, stole Diana's land. But in my heart there lingers still the dark of her perfume. I drink the earthy wine until I become the moon. Oh, 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 oh. All that's left is history, Diana's blood and bone. Fragments of a mystery whose story is our own. But under cover of the stars, her secret is exhumed. I bow before her beauty now, and I become the moon. Oh, here's another one that I put on the list because I just love this song. This was taken from a poem by William Stafford, one of our great American poet laureates, and put to music by my old friend John Gorka. They've never met, the two of them never met. Stafford passed on in the 90s, and but John put this to music and did such a beautiful job with it. And it was, to me, a great meeting of two artists, creative forces coming together through time, making something so beautiful. This is the field where the battle did not happen, where the unknown soldier did not die. This is the field where grass joins hands, where no monument stands, and the only heroic thing is the sky.
Birds fly here without any sound, spreading their wings upon the open. No people killed or were killed on this ground, hallowed by neglect and an air so tame. People celebrate it by forgetting its name. This is the field where the battle did not happen, where the unknown soldier did not die. This is the field where grass joins hands, where no monument stands, and the only heroic thing is the sky. And the only heroic thing is the sky. This is the field. Isn't that pretty? Gosh, I just love that. I love the idea of just a place where humans weren't. Everything was working just right. All right, I've got time for a few more, and I'm going to do 3 more here that I got on my list. Does that sound about right, Robert? Okay. I'm going to do a song of my dad's. This is I always love this song as a song of the earth, and years ago I put it on a record, and when my dad was still alive, and because I was looking for a song that would be like if Mother Earth was going to sing to us and speak to us, what would she sing? And I looked far and wide. I looked for a lot of songs. I was trying to find just the perfect one, and then I remembered this song of my dad's, and just such a beautiful sentiment where once the earth and humans were as lovers, and they had this love and walked through paradise together, and then they fell out of sorts with each other, and drought fell upon the land, and at some point though she's still waiting for humans to return to her and as lovers, and I just thought this song was the perfect embodiment of that, and to sing it, I felt like this is true. And I called my dad after I had recorded it, because people love this song. It was a hit. It was a big hit in the early 60s, I think. And so it was, all over the world. I've had people come up to me and sing it to me in Russian or other languages. Like many of my dad's songs, they went around the world and back again. And so I asked my dad. I said, did you ever think that maybe you had just written this song, the perfect song for the Great Mother? And he said, Eliza, quit looking for hidden meaning in everything. He said, that song isn't about the Great Mother, it's about your mother. So that those classic parents, Wah, wah. But of course, my mother was the great love of his life, so it didn't end well. So here's his beautiful hit song. It was a hit song by the Brothers Four all over the world. I'm gonna go ahead and put a capo on that sucker, as I vaguely recall. Sorry. I'll take a moment to just say that if you would like to tip me for the show tonight, I wouldn't say no to that, and I appreciate it. Here we go. Once there were green fields kissed by the sun. Once there were valleys where rivers used to run. Once there were blue skies with white clouds high above. Once they were part of an everlasting love. Love, love, that's it. We were the lovers who strolled through green fields. Green fields are gone now, parched by the sun. Gone from the valleys where rivers used to run. Gone with the cold wind that swept into my heart. Gone with the lovers who let their dreams depart. Where are the green fields that we used to roam? I'll never know what made you run away. How can I keep searching when dark clouds hide the day? I only know there's nothing here for me. Nothing in this wide world left for me to see. But I'll keep on waiting till you return. I'll keep on waiting until the day you learn. You can't be happy while your heart's on the road. You can't be happy until you bring it home. Home to the green fields and me once again. Should I do one more or two more? What do you think? Do two more, okay. All right, well then I'll do this other song of my dad's. I'm going to do this song of my dad's because this really was his spirit and everything that plunged me into nature and taught me to love nature and revere it came from my dad. And I think this song really shows his absolute philosophy of life and nature's place in our lives. And so you might know this song. If you do, you can sing along. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities are Mother Nature's recipes. Bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the trees to make some honey just for me. If you look under the rocks and plants and take a glance at the fancy ants and maybe try a few, the bare necessities of life will come to you. Look for the necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, or why bear can rest at ease with just the bare necessities of life. So just try to relax in my backyard. If you act like a bee axe, you're working too hard. Don't spend your time looking around for something that's lost that can't be found. You'll find out you can live without it. Go along now thinking about it. Can I tell you something true? The bare necessities of life will come to you. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, why a bear can rest at ease with just the bare necessities of life. Oh, with just the bare necessities. You sing it. You know, that is like such a joyful song, isn't it? All right, I'm going to do one more, and I want to thank you all for tuning in to my Solstice event. This was really fun for me to actually go and dig into these songs, and I kind of remembered them. And and you also can, I know that Team Eliza has been posting how you can tip me for the show, and I appreciate it very much. And also my merch is also available on Shopify, and my get one free. If you buy two, get one free. 3 for the price of 2. Is that how you call it? that is still up at my Shopify store. You can still get the sale, and all these songs are on different records. Like I said, it's all mapped out there. So I'm going to do one more. This is an older song of mine too. This is off of my Secularia record, and this is just I wrote this at a time in my life again when things were not good for me, and it was, I don't know if you've noticed this, but when things fall apart, you start to realize how many things don't fall apart, and you start to kind of go around and name all these things that are still together in your life, and a lot of gratitude can come from the worst times, because you see how much worse it could be, and also how good it's been, how good you've had it. And so that's where this song came from. Thank you for the sun. Thank you for the full moon. Thank you for my true love's face and our lives in love consumed. Thank you for the stars, a home along the river. Thank you for the ancient groves and the fishes brown and silver. All things running wild, grass enough for grazing, water flowing clean and pure. All the beauty that saves me. oceans rise and falling, children born to carry on, and the end that's always calling. Thank you for the songs, thanks for all my good luck, all the things that don't go wrong, and the hopes that won't give up. Thank you for my tears, loved ones who forgave me. Thank you for my darkest years, all the sorrows that made me, and the beauty that saved me.
The beauty that saves me. All right, my dears, thank you so much for tuning in. I sure do appreciate it. And yours, thanks to my team Eliza over here manning the stations. Thank you all for your ongoing support and kindness. And there's ways to tip, and there's my website, and mostly it's just so much fun for me to sing and to have someone to sing to here in this faraway part of the world, the country. It's so great, and thank you so much, because it really wouldn't be that fun if you weren't there on the other end of this. So thank you all, and see you next time.